Hi guys, today I'm going to be working on a silhouette painting of a palm tree. You've probably seen these all over the place, so maybe it's not unfamiliar to you, but what I'm going to do is kind of a cool sunset ombre effect. And so you need to pick two colors that are kind of close to each other on the color wheel, maybe two or three. So I'm gonna pick like a purple and a light pink, dark pink, like something like that. But you can pick whatever you want, like dark blue, light blue, green, or something like that. But like two or three colors. And then what I want you to do is take the darker color of whatever you're gonna do, and put that on the top of your page, watercolor style. Kind of mix it in there with your water until it gets to be the color that you want. You might have to put a couple layers, keep mixing it to get it dark enough. If there's too much water, then it's not going to work out. I mean, it could, but it'll be too light, so you gotta add a lot of color by mixing and mixing it, mixing it. Here comes my next color. Gotta kind of go fast because I want them to blend. But it also kind of looks neat because they kind of look like clouds too, right? You guys have probably done silhouettes before, somehow, or seen them at least. I totally enjoy this because it's one of the more simple things you can do with watercolor or any kind of paint, and it still looks awesome. I'll add some more purple up here. Oops. Pink, light pink this time. Oh, I'm gonna need to get some more pink. I'm losing pink fast. If you want to, you can go back and just add some other pieces of dark on top of the lighter areas. Because really, when you look at the sky, and you see sunset, sunrise, there's all kinds of different layers of clouds and things like that going on. Okay, so once you get down like a little bit more than halfway, I'm gonna want you to go dark again, because we're gonna put some little mountainy things going right here, and they're gonna give a shadow onto water. And so I'm gonna want you to go dark again, like I said, a little over halfway down, because we're gonna do some like little mountains and things. Not like, I don't know, they're not really mountains per se, because you know, it's at sea level if it's near an ocean, right? So they wouldn't really be mountains at that point. But they would be like little hills next to the water, little islands. I'm making some places darker than others so I can draw a, I want you to do them like triangles, because on top of them is where you're going to put a hill or like an island. Maybe another one like over here just randomly. Speaking of islands, have you seen that new movie, Searching for Ohana, on Netflix? Oh my goodness, it was really cute. It was good. It was kind of like a modern version of Goonies, if you've ever heard of Goonies or you know what that means. Your parents will know what that means. Love Goonies. And one or two of the old characters from the original Goonies were in it. But it was cute. It was kind of like Moana meets Goonies. And it was about Oahu, about Hawaii. Okay, now I gotta find my black. Alright, I'm using watercolor, but you could use acrylic You could use colored pencils, oil pastels. You could use like a lot of different things. But for the black, you want to make sure it's pretty solid. Otherwise, it's just going to look see-through. And we don't want that. So I'm doing a black island here. It's going to have a palm tree on it. It's not in the middle of the page because in art, things tend to look more interesting if it's off to the side, off-centered, not straight in the middle. And this is a silhouette, which means the light is coming up behind it, so all you can see is this black tree. You can't see the details of like what the bark color is or anything. You can just see a shadow. And that's what we're going for here. Go up a little bit further if I can. I might have to do a couple layers here to get it the way I want. So I'm going to leave it alone so it dries for a minute. I'm going to work on this area out here, a little island, chain of some kind. It's like in Moana when they're like, don't go beyond the reef. It's kind of like we're drawing that part. Don't go beyond the reef, Moana. Of course she goes beyond the reef, right? So something like this. And then as your black dries, if you're using watercolor, you can go back, add another layer, try to make it a little bit darker, or you could use acrylic if you've got it. That'll work. Oh man, this reminds me of that one song in Moana. I can't remember what it's called because it's not one of the main songs. It's the one where she gives the heart back to Fidi, and she's walking through like the parted waters. Oh, I love that song. I don't know the words because it's in Hawaiian, I think. So when it's like na 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 or something like that. Oh, I love that part. It's my favorite song in the whole thing. And there's some good songs in there. I'm gonna have to go rewatch Moana now. Love it. Now I've got all the songs running through my head like on my own soundtrack. Alright, so that's kind of where we're at. Now I'm looking and seeing like right here, this is too light. I'm going to have to put some darker, go back and get my purple, which I've lost. Where's my purple? Where it is. Make it a little bit darker here so it matches the height of the island I put in. Because you want it to look like a mirror image. It's reflecting in the water. So it should be dark in the same shape in reverse. So if the mountain is this far above, it needs to be that far below. And so I added this guy, so I'm going to add that. And this guy needs to go a little bit bigger. Okay, something like this. Make this go off further too. need some variety over here so it's not just blank looking. Okay, so we're here. It's kind of hard to see all the color on this paper because of the way this lighting is. Let me turn my light off for a second. There you go. So you can kind of see what it looks like. Like the sun's just setting over here. Now we're going to do palm trees. Are y'all with me? It's going to kind of go that way. I don't want to mess up my palm fronds, so I'm thinking about it for a second. Okay, make sure you put a couple dabs in your black paint and just really stir if you're using watercolor. I want to be careful the way I'm doing this and not go, I want it to curve a bit. Oh, that was probably too much of a curve. Let's see if we can salvage it. Just make it a little bit wider. We're going to go with it. Okay. And then we're going to try and make it a little bit skinnier than that at the top, because I kind of messed it up. Made it too thick at the top because I didn't want it to be too curved. Okay, so now I'm going to do like just a hint of maybe a coconut here, and maybe another one like down here or something. I don't know. I just don't want there to be, I don't want you to be able to see coconuts a lot because it's going to be more about the palm fronds. So something like that. And then if you have a smallish brush, I would switch to that at this point. So we're going to come out from the middle, kind of like this. And you just need to put a couple of those just everywhere. There's not like a certain number. Just put them. These are going to be like the main branches, but we're going to have little fronds coming off of those branches. There's like some that are coming up like that. Okay, so now we're going to add the fronds. So like say this one right here. We're just going to kind of come off of it like this on both sides. Get it as dark as you can because it's going to be hard to go through later and go over it with the same stroke where it's wider at the bottom near the branch and feathery towards the outside. You know what I'm saying? Because if you try to do that again, you might miss because of just the motion you're using to bring it out. Like it's almost like you're just flicking it. Because you don't want it to be a solid, thick line. You want it to look like eyelashes almost. Ah! Starting to look like a spider on this side. Let me see if we can fix that. Gonna have to go over it again. It looks like anyway too much water. As you're coming off, remember gravity is gonna bring those palm fronds kind of aiming down and not straight up in the air. So like, yeah, they go out a little bit, but they're gonna kind of go down just because of gravity and the weight. So you don't want them to be like the same side, like just a line. You want them to look like eyelashes or something, where they're just real wispy and feathery. This would be better with acrylic, I would think. It wouldn't be so light. It would be solid and consistent more, so you don't have to go back. This reminds me of my best friend. She used to paint palm trees on everything growing up. She always wanted to live in Hawaii or on the beach. She got pretty lucky. She works for the military, and so she gets to go to a lot of places that have beaches now. Although sometimes she gets stuck there for a long time because they're pretty remote islands they send her to for different things, and she gets stuck there sometimes. And I'm like, poor baby, but you know, she gets sick of being stuck on islands. So, but I have a couple of cousins that live in Hawaii, and I would love to go visit them. It just looks so beautiful, all of the waterfalls and things like that. Alright, well there's the gist of it, okay? If you want to go and add yourself more than one palm tree, of course you can, but I think we're going to leave it. Also, something else you could do is go and add in some like darker clouds with different shadows. You could add like some white to show where there's surf if you want, but this is about it. So I'm going to turn this off again so you can see the colors a little bit better. There, so there you are. Alright, well, I can't wait to see yours, and I hope you enjoy. Bye.